கேமா தான் நான் சொல்லுவேன். ஸ்கேன் பார்க்கறதுக்கு பைசா இல்லை. ஒரு மந்த்லி 2 months கோர்ஸ் ஆகும். பட் நான் வந்து 4 months ஸ்பான்சர் அந்த மாதிரி போய் செக் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். ஏன்னா ஸ்கேன் எடுக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு 1000 ரூபாய் வேணும். ஒரு 1000 ரூபாய் நிஜமாவே என்கிட்ட இல்லை. பட் யோகேஷ் வந்து ரொம்ப ஃபீல் பண்ணியிருக்காரு. எப்படின்னா இல்லை நான் வந்து நானும் மீடியாவில் இருக்கேன், நீயும் மீடியாவில் இருக்கேன். ஸோ இங்கே உள்ளவங்க எல்லாத்துக்குமே நான் வேலை கேட்டிருக்கேன். யார் என்ன பார்க்குறாங்க, எனக்கு ஏதாவது பர்சன்ஸ் எல்லாம் கொடுங்க, ஏதாவது டைம் எல்லாம் கொடுங்க, இதுதான் பண்ணோம் அதுதான் பண்ணோம் அப்படின்றேன். ஏன்னா எனக்கு எங்கள் அம்மா அப்பா என் குழந்தை என் கணவரோட எனக்கு என் வேலை ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும். ஏன்னா நான் எதுவுமே இல்லாத வேண்டிய வேலை மட்டும் தான் எனக்கு கை பிடிச்சி மெயின்டைன் சோறு தண்ணி கொடுத்துருக்கேன். ஸோ இன்னைக்கு பாப்பா எல்லாருமே ஹாப்பியாக இருக்கும்னா ஆப்ரேஷனுக்கு எனக்கு ஆக்சுவலாக ஆச்சு. ஸோ டாக்டர் சொன்னாங்க 1 month ஒர்க்லாம் போகக்கூடாது. பட் நானும் யோகி வந்துட்டு அதெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் இல்லைப்பா, 10 நாளே வேலைக்கு போயிடலாம்னு சொல்லிட்டு 10 நாளே நான் பாப்பா விட்டு வேலைக்கு தான் போயிட்டேன். அது எனக்கு நிறைய காமெடி பண்ணுறது ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும். அப்படின்னா பாலிடிக்ஸ் ஸ்கோர் வந்து கெஸ்ட் கொடுக்கும். ஸோ அப்பெல்லாம் வந்து கீழெல்லாம் விளையாட மாதிரிலாம் இருந்தது. அப்புறம் வந்து யோகி சொன்னீங்கப்பா, கீழெல்லாம் விழுந்தா தையல் பிரிஞ்சிடும், அப்புறம் நாளைக்கு பிரச்சனை ஆயிடும். வெடிப்பா இந்த தையல் பிரிஞ்சா தச்சுட்டு போயிட்டே இருக்கோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நான் அதை வரைக்கும் வேலையை ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணேன். எதுனாலும் முடியும். வேலை இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா நமக்கு ஒரு சப்போர்ட் ஒரு விஷயம் இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா யாராலும் தூக்கி போட்டு முன்னாடி வரலாம். ஐயா வந்துட்டு லேயர் பேசுறத விட இப்படி ஒரு அம்மாவா பேசுறது so much of difference in you. Like saying women can also be weak at times, but a mother will never be weak at times. Never ever. She's always strong. Can we have your husbands on stage, please? Sanjeev, Lokesh, any name of your function, but இவரோட சேர்ந்து இவங்களுக்கு இந்த கவர்மெண்ட் கொடுக்குறதுக்கா எல்லா தாய்மார்களும் please. ஸோ இந்த தாய்மார கையால இப்போ புதுசா பிறந்திருக்கிற இந்த தாய்மாருக்கு நீங்க வந்து இந்த விருதை வழங்கணும். அதோடு சேர்ந்து உங்களுடைய கவர்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கணும். அது மட்டும் இல்லை, அவங்களுக்கு உங்களுடைய blessings please.
And we're just about ready. Time for the first ball. For a great shot.
We're on. Yes.
That's one for the highlights reel.
Yep.
Two runs added.
Waiting.
Great shot. 4 runs.
Wait on.
The batsmen were playing all their shots that over. Very expensive.
Change of bowling. Medium pacer is coming into the attack.
Waiting.
The batsmen will want to get the strike turning over here.
Bit of a workout, but safely fielded.
Didn't need to play at that one. Wide.
We're there. Yes. Yep. Yeah!
That's out. Caught and bowled.
The dismissed batsman puts out for a duck. The batting team are now 1 for 15. The right-hander is coming into bat at number 3.
Wait on.
Good bowling here. The Dots are putting the pressure right on. Big shout for that one. Not out the decision.
Yadav, the left-arm unorthodox bowler, is coming into the attack from the nursery end.
Right there.
They take the single.
Yep.
That goes for 4. Good shot.
Great bowling.
Needs to bowl that again. It's a wide.
Waiting. Yes.
Seeing the ball well out there. Some solid shots.
Yep.
Gave a few too many away in that over.
Wait on. Yes.
This should be close.
Yep. Keeper.
And through for 1. The batsman played all around it. What a ball.
We're there.
This could be out.
Right there. Yep.
Time to perfection.
Yep. No. Yep.
Adjusted superbly to the change of pace. You can't trick him that easily.
Yep. To the bowler.
Moves into the 30s. Good start to this innings.
That was a great delivery, but he's played an even greater shot to get 4.
Wait.
Give away a bit too much there. The captain can push this field a bit deeper now. 3 more players able to go outside the circle.
This bowler knows how to give the ball an almighty tweak. Let's see how they go.
Waiting.
They need to be careful not to go after the wrong ball here. These dots are building the pressure. Ah, what a good shot.
Yes. Wait on. Catch. Yep.
That's run away to the boundary.
Yes.
End of the power play. So should be seeing some changes to the field now.
And with that, 5 fielders can be now put outside the circle. A change in the bowling lineup.
Spinner coming on to bowl.
Yes.
And they go through for 1. And that's a single.
Yes.
One bounce and it goes for 4.
Catch it!
Yes.
And there's air on this.
Yes.
Ah, super shot.
That brings up the half century for this.
And that's the half century. The right-arm pace bowler is coming into the attack from the pavilion end.
Waiting. Yep.
That's off the middle of the bat.
Wait there.
That one bounces through to the keeper.
That one missed everything and then some.
Catch it.
Super shot that.
Yep. Yep.
Right out of the middle.
Right there.
Too expensive in that over.
Yep.
Super shot that.
Wet on. Yep.
Two added there. That's hit the pad. Huge appeal.
Umpire says not out. Looks like it took some bat on the way through.
Wet on. Yep.
This should be close.
Ends that over. The right-arm pace bowler is coming into the attack from the pavilion end.
Yes. Here.
Takes the single.
Yep.
Ah, great shot.
Wait.
And that's 4.
Waiting.
Catch it!
It's in the air. Russell, the right-arm medium bowler, is coming into the attack from the nursery end.
That's 4. Superb shot.
Keeper.
Oh, picks that one up nicely. Good shot. They take the single.
Yes.
Ooh, and that got what it deserved. Poor ball.
Right there.
Yep. Keeper.
Great timing.
Yep.
Right off the meat of the bat.
And that brings up the 100-run partnership for this team.
Yes.
Oh, super shot. Goes through to the wicketkeeper. No shot offered.
Yep.
Solid shot. Goes for 4.
Yes.
Solid shot. Goes for 4.
Yep.
Perfect technique and placement.
Waiting. Right there. Yep.
That's racing to the fence.
Yep.
Ah, great shot.
brings up the half century for this batsman.
And that's 50 already. This has been a roaring performance.
Waiting.
Gave a few too many away in that over.
This bowler knows how to give the ball an almighty tweak. Let's see how they go.
We're there. Yep.
No!
Yes.
One more to the score.
Right there.
Catch!
Yep.
And there's air on this.
Quick to react and takes it.
The batsman leaving the field, caught out for 50 wide. The right-hander is coming into bat at number 4.
We're there. Yep.
No!
The batsman will want to get the strike turning over here.
Yep.
Nice shot, that one.
Change of bowling, the captain is going with pace.
Yep. Bowler!
One run there. Ah, super shot.
That's what the crowd have come to see. Nicely played. This has been quite an innings to watch. Rapid-fire runs scoring and reaches three figures in no time.
Waiting. Yes.
Keeper!
The fielder cuts that one off well.
Wait there. Yep.
Chance.
Wait on.
Great shot. Driven straight down the wicket.
Wait. Yep.
And that's 4.
Yep.
Won't need to run there. Racing away.
Waiting. Yep. No! Waiting. Yep.
Perfectly timed that shot, and it sails to the boundary.
Wait. Yeah. No!
Give away a bit too much there. Yadav has been thrown the ball again.
Yep.
Perfect technique and placement.
Yes.
This should be close.
Jose! Yeah!
He never looked like getting home there, took the gamble against the fielder and lost badly.
11.
The new batsman will be down at the non-striker's end.
Yep. Bowler!
And a single taken.
Yep.
Time to perfection.
Waiting. Yeah.
Wow, that's been put away nicely. This bowler knows how to give the ball an almighty tweak. Let's see how they go.
Wait. Yep.
Two quick wickets, really putting the pressure on.
Gill got out for 8.
The new batsman will be down at the non-striker's end.
Yep. No! Catch! Yep.
Right out of the middle.
Wait there. Catch! Yeah!
Oh, what a nice catch.
That's what the crowd have come to see. Nicely played. That's got to be close.
These last few overs have changed the momentum of this innings. 3 quick wickets. Only the one review. He must be confident or he'll be hearing all about it from his teammates.
Pitch is good. That's hitting in line. Tough call, but well worth asking the question. Bit of a task for the new batsman here, trying to turn this innings around after a steady flow of wickets in recent overs.
Superb shot.
Catch it!
Yep. Yeah!
Reacted well there. Good catch.
Batsman departs, caught out for 6.
Ahmed.
Left-handed batsman is coming in.
Is the new man at the non-strikers end.
Catch!
Yep.
Yadav has had a good over there, some runs coming from it, but more importantly, 2 wickets. He lets that go through to the keeper.
Oh, good ball.
Swing and a miss. The batsman misjudging that one.
Catch. Yeah.
The moment that left the bat, the batsman would have known the result. Easy catch.
The batsman making the long walk back to the pavilion, caught out for 1.
Bit of a task for the new batsman here, trying to turn this innings around after a steady flow of wickets in recent overs. Big shout for an LBW. Not sure the captain is convinced though. I think he might be right.
That was well worth the shout. Umpire says not out.
Catch it.
Yep.
Catch it.
Yep.
That's wonderful! 6! I enjoyed that innings, saw some nice shots with some very powerful hitting. They have a good total to defend here. A big task ahead for the batsman. Let's see what he can do.
Going with spin now.
Captain is going with the spinner.
Yeah.
Oh, picks that one up nicely. Good shot.
Waiting. Wait. Yeah.
And that's a single.
Yep.
Perfect technique and placement.
Wait.
Give away a bit too much there.
Yeah.
Ah, what a good shot.
Waiting. Waiting.
Another dot ball.
Yeah. Catch.
Ah, what a shot. 6.
Wait on. Yeah. Catch!
Great shot, driven straight down the wicket.
Yep. Keeper!
Not getting past that fielder.
Waiting. Yeah.
4 runs there, super shot.
Yep.
That's racing to the fence.
Wait on. Yep. Wait. Yeah. Catch.
That's a good boundary. The right armour is the new bowler from the nursery end.
Yep, yep. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, picks that one up nicely. Good shot.
Yeah.
One run taken.
Yep. Keeper.
Another run added. He's beaten all ends up by that.
The batsman departing the crease. Ball 28.
Wait. Yep. Yep, yep.
And they go through for one.
Catch!
Ah, nice shot.
Yep.
Nice shot.
Finds it more relaxing to watch. But he's at a stage now where he can watch whatever cricket's on, and he'll have forgotten what's happened live. So I'll just get a WhatsApp at about midday, and he'll just be like, Trescothick's batting well, and you go, oh, okay, we're watching that. This is the year we're watching. It doesn't really matter if it's the current test. But I feel a huge, I love watching Test cricket. I really, really thoroughly have a lovely time.
Misread that one. Couldn't get the drive away.
You're fitting well here, to be fair. I mean, even though we do spend a lot of our time on guerrilla cricket watching it in a professional bar bank balance capacity, it is it is interesting how cricket. It seems to me the more time you invest in cricket, the more it gives you back, and that isn't always the case with a lot of other sports. And
well, I hope that Mac's rushing, and I hope his dad will watch in that first innings, because what a glorious, glorious display of limited over stroke play and power and destructive hitting, we were able to see the lovely dovetailing of two world-class experts, Tony, Jez, in that total of 204.
Oh, totally. I mean, we saw the full range from De Villiers. We saw some curious. I mean, I suppose it's a chicken and egg, isn't it? If De Villiers is in that form, he's very hard to bowl to. But I'm not sure Andre Russell ever looked like he was going to be able to have them under control in the 2 overs that he bowled. He got smashed across for 38 of his 2.
It's a different type of exam question. Of that, we are quite sure. We'll ruminate on that innings as we talk through what Kolkata do in response. I am going to let our jingler...
I feel like normal service has been restored.
A little bit. A different type of entertainment than what we've been used to over the last 7 days. Anyway, let's get some jingles starting, I think, with our batsmen.
And so it goes, Nitish, Rana.
Thomas goes down. Sloppy fielding.
There are plenty of guys who talk like they know what they're doing. Liars and frauds. Shubman, Gill is the real deal. He doesn't talk. He does it, shows them how.
Strangely enough, I've just watched Rana, apropos of nothing, drop his bat. I don't know whether that's a good sign or not for what's about to come for the next 20 overs for Kolkata.
Certainly going to be some scoreboard pressure, I would expect.
You would be a fool or a communist to suggest anything else. I think it's going to be Siraj. I think he's going to open, but I think we're going to. I don't know if we want to get more of a close up.
Is this one of those logic questions, Alan? That then means that communists are not.
Well, they are just one.
Pool or a Cummins, well, true.
Yeah. And that's the first ball outside the off-stump, swing and a miss. And let's jingle up the bowler. True or false, Tony? Siraj could walk into the Test side and the limited over side of any other country in the world apart from India. As he comes, that's just outside the off stump. Cut away.
Yeah, let's have a look at his stats while I ponder that one.
It is fielded right at the edge of the circle, but partially misfielded, and so there'll be a single taken, and Kolkata are off and running. Single off 2 deliveries. I was so impressed with it.
I don't think he'd make the Australian team, given the barrage of fast bowlers there.
Yeah. He's just struck me over the last 6-9 months. Very impressive.
He's played 5 tests, hasn't he? 5 tests, 16 wickets at 28. Just the 1 ODI.
And he's into Gill, and that's filth down the leg side. And there shall be a wide, and a wide jingle shall be played.
Wide.
I might have listened to too much Hugh Edwards yesterday at the funeral.
Oh, Lord, I missed most of that. Got a best of 34 for 32 in the IPL, not Hugh Edwards, but Mohamed Siraj.
I have a bone to pick with you, Tony Bishop. You actually confessed that you're not good at making stuff up.
And that is crushed through the covers. And I have commentators cursed Siraj, and it's gone for 4. And while there's no jingler there, I'll go, that went like a tracer bullet.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
So
yeah, he played that beautifully. Just waited for it.
So hang on. What's the bone to pick? That Tony makes stuff up, or that we think he?
No, that he doesn't make stuff up. I mean,
83.7% of all statistics are made up.
Well, Tony reckons he does his research and only tells facts, which is a bit of a worry.
Well, I tell facts as they are presented to me in my research.
And that is a slightly better ball. Gill, watchful. In defence, can only push it back. Siraj, the ball just escapes him, but it does not escape mid-off, and there'll be a single.
I will say there's limited time for validation.
Fair enough.
So if you go to the Chennai tourist authorities website and they tell you it was the home of mulligatawny soup, for example, you go, well, let's hope it probably was.
I'm just reminded of some of the stuff on Brassard. That's a fact. There's no scientific basis for it, but it's a fact.
Well, there you are.
We're 4 balls in to this Kolkata response as Siraj comes in. And that is just outside the off stump, and it's a play towards mid-on, but there'll be no run.
So we work on the basis that if Bish says it's a true fact, somebody else said it might be a made-up fact.
Can we get that on a T-shirt? Bish's truth. Pravda.
Oh, there you are then.
Power to the people. Bish's truth. Don't know what you've started there, mate, to be honest, but I think we could, I think you've made it through it, okay? Fairly much unscathed.
Getting a slightly jumpy feed, that is definitely true at the moment.
As long as it's jumpy for us as well. It is for me as well.
Okay, so it's what's coming out of Sydenham rather than what's particularly the conditions in Claygate.
Last ball of the over, and that is ball just outside off stump, played towards mid-on. There will be a single. Gill will retain the strike. 7 runs off that first over. So what have we got in the world of social media?
Well, apart from a tweet I put out detailing Gray Russell's different bowling stats from 5 days ago to today on a ball-by-ball basis, Farong has sent us the AB batting stats. He's now scored 128 runs off 64 balls, 200 strike rate. Considering he only scored 1 from 5 against Sunrisers Hyderabad, that's pretty impressive.
It's the Terminator T2000 cricket edition, like from New Zealand. It's going to be Kyle Jameson from the other end.
And that's the story of how Kyle Jameson became a man.
Superb timing.
I don't know. It's something about his frame. He looks like the middle portion of it is. Was he subject to being on a rack when he was a kid? He just looks like he's been stretched.
He's fairly well built, though. I mean, it doesn't look like it's at the expense of muscle.
He's the Terminator T2000. He can't be stopped. He can't be killed by conventional weapons, Kyle Jameson. As he lumbers in, that is a good ball, but Gill has backed away to leg and has fired that ball through the covers, and Jameson's first ball has gone for 4.
Yeah, just a little bit short. And
my name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
We've had a comment from the green room that that Mr. Haaland, who might well be Man City's next £200 million footballer, might be a good visual comparison to Kyle Jameson.
Tall, blonde.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good at stuff. As Jameson is in, and Gill tries to drive that ball straight past Jameson, but Jameson just sticks a mighty 6'8" sized paw down and plucks the ball out of thin air, and there'll be no run.
He's coming a long way down the track, considering he's so tall. That ball that went for 4.
Yeah,
he was 3-4 paces down the track.
You know, it's kind of a premeditated move, I think.
And
to be fair, he's kind of tried to follow him, but he's just
he got on top of it. Of it quite splendidly. Did Shubman Gill
managed to give himself a bit of room as Jameson is in again, and that's again in the slot. And Gill has pulled that through mid-wicket, and I think that's gone very flat, but high enough to be 6. But we'll wait for official confirmation. We've got a ponderous-looking umpire here. He looks like he's being told stuff in his ear.
I think they're really trying to intimidate Jamieson first up because
I think so.
With a lack of experience, I think they think he might be well put off his game if they get on top of him early.
Yeah. 6 runs. 6 of the maximum indeed, and Gill looks like he's going to get them all himself as he backs away again to leg, and he uppercuts this backward of square, and that's back-to-back 6s for Shubman Gill.
5, 2 6s in a row, 2 6s in a row, 2 6s in a row.
It's to be perfectly honest, there's nothing wrong with the ball. Gill is moving about his crease. He's trying to change the exam question for Kyle Jameson, and he's got the upper hand so far.
You certainly need to get the upper hand early on in an innings when you're chasing 220.
Attempted to be driven down the ground, and Jameson has his man. What a great diving catch that is. Hasn't been able to beat mid-on as Gill tries again to back himself away to leg and tries to hit the ball either wide or over mid-on, but a despairing dive and a last-minute clutch with 2 hands, probably like his mama taught him, has brought about the dismissal of the dangerous-looking Shubman Gill. Mr. Christian, I presume.
It was indeed our friend Dan Christian, and it was a well-taken catch. Considering the hammer he'd taken, Jameson will be well chuffed.
Great delivery to find the edge.
They need to be careful.
Christian
not to
is
go
on
after the wrong
as
ball
a substitute.
Here.
Glenn Maxwell is taking a bit of a breather. I'm pretty sure AB de Villiers want to take a breather as well, but he's got the gloves on. 4.66 out. And 1 for 16 off 5 balls. Looks a damn sight better than 0 for 16 off 5 balls. And Kolkata are 23 for 1. And it's going to be this man coming in at number 3.
He's a big hitter. So what will his captain do now? He's going to play Tripathi, right-hand batsman, yeah. Takes bowlers so long to get him out, yeah.
So it's going to be Tripathi who comes in at number 3. I'm interested to know to see a bit more of the Yorker length delivery from Kyle Jameson. I got visions of my childhood of Joel Garner for Somerset firing in and breaking batsmen's toes. It's a ball that really should be in this man's repertoire as he comes in. And Tripathi backs away to leg and drives this ball through the covers. It's obviously a tactic, and it's a tactic that's working. Tripathi has 4, Kolkata 27 for 1 after 2 overs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Clearly they're thinking, at all costs, you can't let the run rate slip.
Yep.
When you're chasing 205. So they're currently going at 13.5, and they need just a fraction under 10. So they're arguably doing the right thing. Probably will even think that the 1 wicket is a reasonable price to pay.
Potentially. You maybe would have preferred Rana to go than Gill, but cheers.
Mog says you'd buy a t-shirt that says "This Bish speaks truth." Leah says, what is this T2000 you keep talking about, Al? The only reference I can find isn't an obviously fake wiki page that references a non-existent film.
Terminator 2. I'm sure it was the T2000.
It was. She's having a go.
Oh, is she having a go? Oh, I thought we were people who were listening to the same game of cricket. There's a
T2000 is an interesting change on T20. Actually, it's a hell of a long game.
Well, yeah. Well, true. Well, if you can have the 100, you can have the T2000. Siraj is at the attack, and we got spin.
Knowing me, knowing you, there is nothing we can do. Knowing me, knowing you.
Hasn't taken a wicket yet, has he? Yuzvendra Chahal bowled 8 overs for 70 runs and no wickets so far.
No wickets. Let's see how he does. And it's a sweep shot straight out the gate from Rana. That is fielded behind square, deep on the leg side. Rana moves to 2. And the whole game just stops to pause to take breath after an exciting couple of overs from Kolkata. Certainly here to be able to make a decent fist of it. They're not going to die wondering.
Shot.
As Tripathi just make sure that everything is as it should be from his perspective before Chahal will come in for the second ball of this third over. Two deep fielders, one on the square boundaries either side, and he's been beaten in the flight by Chahal there. I think that he was expecting that to turn the other way. Squibbed off the pad.
That was another good over.
Fielded at slip, but no run taken. Great catch that by Dan Christian, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's often a frustration. I'll hold the thought for a second.
As that is again filth down the leg side, but just catches enough of Tripathi's pad for it not to be called a wide.
Through for one.
And AB de Villiers will mop everything up, and there'll be no run.
I mean, normally you might think a catch like that by a substitute fielder is a bit of a pain in the neck for the batting side. But if he's replacing Maxwell, you can't really think that, can you?
No, it's true, as that is a short, a ball that is slightly short and tried to be driven through the covers by Tripathi, but he can only find cover, and there'll be no run. Just one ball, one run off 4 balls so far.
Yeah, I've barely seen Maxi drop a catch.
He's excellent. But there certainly was a lively catch diving to his right.
Certainly was.
By Christian.
As that is on leg stump, and Chahal will play that through mid wicket, and there'll be a single as mid on sprints to his right in order to be able to do some fielding. 2 runs off this over so far, and a little bit of becalming from what went in the over before, where all sorts of carnage.
Well, he needs, the wicket. With those previous 2 match figures, I suppose it counts for a lot for Yuzvendra Chahal that he got them in matches that the RCB won both.
Yes.
Had they been in losing causes, you wonder if they might have asked him to take a blow and found an alternative.
Potentially, but I think there's a certain degree of power that comes from consistency. Is that I think might be the Googly, but Rana just plays it defensively. It just dribbles to where de Villiers can field it. 29 for 1, 3 overs in the books. Jez.
So Angelic Scooter started typing this tweet just after Jamieson had been hit for 2 sixes in a row. He said this kind of feels a bit like Jamison's fortunes in the series against Australia a few weeks ago. But as I write this, he appears to have got the last laugh after all. Nestlers has sent us a screenshot of his Chrome browser split into 4 screens, saying new browser in use with 4-way panels. What could possibly go wrong? Nestlers has recently discovered that Windows isn't as shit as he was led to believe when he used Macs, but he's on a voyage of discovery.
A voyage of discovery, indeed. We are going to jingle up a new bowler. AB de Villiers is waving to his kids. I think that might be his kids.
Something with like that. So it turns out that you are looking at Washington Sundar.
I'm going to guess he was waving at his kids, Jess. What do you reckon?
4 runs there. Super shot.
That might just be right.
Might just be right.
And there's a picture of the T2000 metal tennis racket Jimmy Connors used.
Washington Sundar's first ball is, well, Rana gets down on Tripathi gets down on one leg and sweeps straight back over Sundar's head. 2 bounces, 4 runs. He's done very well to get his wrists underneath that. He's gone across his crease to this next ball from Sundar in order to try and sweep the ball past a short fine leg. However, he cannot do so. He only finds short square leg and has to scramble back in his crease, and there'll be no run from that second delivery. Sundar in again, gets about his business quickly. Driven to point, and there's a mad dive and a... I think it might have been in even if cover had have hit the stumps. However, cover does not, and there is a single taken.
Excellent bit of fielding.
Excellent bit. Pick up, throw, one motion. Washington Sundar is looking as if to go, "What are you throwing at me?"
I think he would have just...
He would have been safe.
Made it, but by a very...
hair's breadth.
Fine margin.
Fine margin indeed. And Rana will take strike for just his 5th ball in 3.5 overs. It's all kind of gone on around him, hasn't it, really, Rana?
Indeed.
I'm not sure who the fielder was at short cover. I was trying to work out who it was. I'm sure Knuckle will tell us.
Difficult to pick out. Washington Sundar will come in for his 4th ball of his 1st over. And Rana has tried to smear that through mid-wicket. Mistimes it. Carl Jameson will run to his left and do the fielding. There'll be a single taken. And Kolkata Knight Riders are 35 for 1.
It's Rajat Patidar with that excellent sweeping pick-up and throw all in one nice fluid motion.
Yeah. Sundar in, and that is absolute filth down the leg side, but Tripathi had already made a move down to the leg side, so what should have been a comfortable wide hits him square on the pad, and there's no run, and Tripathi feels like he's double bluffed himself into missing out there.
Yeah, well, comfortable boundary, frankly. It was dross, which should have gone straight through square leg.
Dross is a kind word to describe the filth of that last delivery from Washington Sundar, who's got 1 ball left. Lucky boy, 6 runs from the over so far. Tripathi is on the walk as it leaves Sundar's hand. He plays the ball through mid-wicket. They look to try and think about 2, but Christian's arm is fast and true, and there'll just be a single, and that's the end of the over.
Well, yes. You know what? He'll take that, Will Sundar. Yeah, at the end, so. He only went. What was he over 7 in the end?
4 off the first ball. I think that's a win.
So that already represents the brakes being applied, and if you can apply them in the power play, so much the better.
Absolutely. Cheers.
There's a couple of comments on YouTube. I'm not sure if they got read before. From Kieran Rain, listening to us all from Doha. Thanks for the commentary. Love all the jingles. And Stephen Kelk, afternoon grillers, tuning in after watching the Malaysia-Netherlands T20 a little earlier. Welcome. And there is a host of people on Facebook, Cricket Trackers, Facebook live page. Nithu Modar, Rick Mondal, Laltu Kumar, Vishnu Bind, Vikas Siswal, Sajan Khan, Baija, Dinesh Kumar, Mod Habib, Sanim Khan. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for being with us.
Absolutely. Siraj, taken off after 1 over, is now coming back in the power play to bowl his 2nd, and as well, Glenn Maxwell is back on the field as well. Well, let's hear for about Siraj. Tripathi is backed away, and not quite a Dill scoop for 6, but certainly a scoop shot over short fine leg, and that's gone like a tracer bullet for 4 runs.
It's more deft than that. I mean, it was like very clever the way he played that, bullet.
No, it's just a well-timed shot.
Yeah, that was just a flick, wasn't it? Nicely executed.
Absolutely. But it was definitely premeditated. And Kolkata 40 now the score. They'll certainly be ahead in terms of power play totals with the 2 wickets falling earlier in the RCB innings, as that's more in the slot, but Tripathi can only drive that ball as far as Jameson at mid-off, and Tripathi knows he's kind of missed out on one there. When you get those slot deliveries, you really got to max out.
Certainly should be 45 for 2, but don't forget the RCBs were recovering from 9 for 2.
Exactly.
And they had De Villiers to to bring in at 5 and Maxwell at 4. So
Tony, when you disappeared earlier on, did you ever watch Bod when it was?
Yes.
So as you came back, Siraj is in, but that is just back of a length. But Tripathi's able to hit the ball over mid-off, and that's gone 2 bounces into the boundary sponge for another 4. When you came back and you homed into view in front of your background, all I could think of was, here comes Bob.
Marvellous. Well, I have to confess, I was caught. I'll hold the thought.
As that is, try to be guided towards that sort of like a very fine third man position, but only an under edge. And
I wasn't caught short, but I was caught short by the shortness of the interval break.
Yeah.
I was squeezed in lunch, which I'd only barely started when I suddenly realised, oh crikey, they're back on and ready to start again. So
that seems to be a guerrilla tradition, Vish.
Well, I know, if it's Nestle's, he's waiting for Tesco's to deliver something normally, isn't it?
Or he's having to deal with next door neighbour's cat or something like that.
Yes, I've got my own problems with my own cat.
Siraj is in again, and again Tripathi comes down the pitch, tries to be able to cart him through the covers, kind of gets himself all in a bit of a bother by the distance that he shortened up the distance between himself and Siraj, and again mistimed, able to be fielded by the bowler, no run. It's like in their haste to be able to try and make something happen, they are getting themselves into they're not quite making full hay of what's available. But scoreboard pressure can do that to you, Tony.
Making full hay of what's available. That's a new one on me.
Full hay.
Full hay, as opposed to half hay. Or maximum hay might be hay.
Oh.
Siraj in for the last ball of the day, Yorker length delivery, speared in at the toes, and Tripathi can consider himself well done there to be able to kind of chop the ball down towards mid-wicket, and he'll sprint through for a single. He's 20 off 16, and that's the end of the 5th over.
So there are no new tweets, but I can just take the opportunity to draw people's attention, if they happen to be watching, to my background, which says "and there is no run," which is one of many designs available from the Guerrilla shop.
Jez, how would I get onto that Guerrilla shop?
So if you were to go to the website GuerrillaCricket.com, you will find a link on there that takes you to the Guerrilla Cricket shop. And there is a huge range of items, from clocks to t-shirts to bedspreads to shower curtains, all of which are and phone covers too, which are brilliant. All of which are customised to any number of the wonderful designs we've had done, largely by Hombre Nuevo, who's a fantastic follower of ours, and at very reasonable prices.
Reasonable.
So I encourage everyone to go and have a look around and see what they can find there.
That sounds like an ideal way of being able to spend a Sunday afternoon. I will do that myself at the end of this next over when we have our change. It's going to be Washington. Sundar is going to bowl the last ball of the power play, as that is a ball that's short of a length, and Tripathi tries to sweep the ball, but can only really mistime it. There'll be a single, as it is Virat Kohli, who will move slightly from mid-wicket to be able to do the fielding. Kolkata are 46 for 1. So reasonable prices, Jez.
So I understand. Different things, different prices, but I mean, given the quality of the designs, it's extraordinarily good value in my view.
As Rana has come down the track, and he has hit that high and hard, and that has got threatened a number of empty seats behind the Kolkata bench, and that's gone for a fully fledged maximum.
Got a little bit of a shape away from him, but he was swinging through it, wasn't he?
In miracles.
since you came to bat. You 60 thing, you 60 thing, you. I believe in miracles since you came out to bat. You 60 thing.
We are being subjected to statistics that show us that there has been significantly less turn in this day-night game as opposed to all previous all-evening games. Make of that what you will, as Sundar comes in and he's fired that ball slightly quicker, and Rana's tried to hit that ball in the covers behind square, half stopped, single taken.
You say less turn. You see, that's quite surprising to me, because I would have thought it would have been the opposite way around. I would have thought we'd have seen slightly more turn on the pitch that's sort of been sort of rather drier and under the sun.
You see, the thing, somebody had done the work and I just read it out, which I assume to be truth. It's not quite Bish's truth.
I was saying surprising, not incorrect.
Oh, well,
really surprising.
And that has been swept by Tripathi, and it has cleared square leg, and that will go for 4 runs as Sundar errs in line and length.
1, 2, 3, 4.
A fully fledged swing of the shoulders there, wasn't it, by Tripathi?
Indeed. It certainly feels like there's a little more pace in this wicket than we've seen in the evening games recently.
Yeah.
So the batsmen have more confidence that it's not going to hold up for them. And maybe that affects the spin as well.
So 2 balls left of the power play. Currently, the gap between Kolkata and RCB is 17 runs in Kolkata's favour, as that is an attempted sweep again, which catches the underside of Tripathi's bat. Chahar will do the fielding. I think that's where they try to hide him, at that kind of like short fine leg position. There's just 1 ball left of this and 1 over left of my spell. Tony, who's next?
I know I'm on social, so I rather suspect it may be Knuckle to slide seamlessly into the commentary chair.
And an Indo is coming in as well.
An Indo
that sounds good.
If he can find a seat.
And that has gone high. It's gone down towards deep square, and that has been taken. A wicket with the last ball of my spell. Come on.
Splendid catch.
Siraj has taken a steepling catch. That went a long way up. He had enough time to really think about whether he was in the right position or not. He judged it perfectly. He just came back. Just had to take a couple of steps back right at the death. But that's a 2nd wicket down in the power play. And that might be
a lot of pressure on.
That's going to put a lot of pressure on who's coming next. The dangerous Tripathi goes. Knuckle, I'll leave it with you.
Thank you, Al. We're having a check about something. I'm not entirely sure what. Umpire Shamsuddin is laughing at something and having a look at his ball counter. Not really sure what all that is about. We're into a strategic timeout called at the end of the power play. But yes, that was an excellent catch by Mohammad Siraj, backpedaling from the edge of the circle, and the ball came down with some pace, and he got himself into a good position and clung on. So Washington Sundar has 1 for 19 off his 2 overs. Rahul Tripathi gone for 25 off 20, a promising innings, cut short before it could become any more than that. KKR 57 for 2 off the power play, and the required run rate is about just over a run and over faster than KKR are currently going at. Nitish Rana is 10 off 7, has only hit 1 shot in anger. It should mean Eoin Morgan coming to the crease, but we'll see after the end of the timeout. Let's get through some social media messages.
Social media management.
Woodstock timeout.
Yeah, no, we don't need to talk about tyres. We'll talk about quality cricket gear at 15% discount through Guerrilla Cricket with Woodstock. Farong says, Only Fools and Horses theme just started up. Is that a reference to the current commentary crew? Stick a pony in my pocket. I'll fetch my suitcase from the van. Because if you want the best ones, etc., etc. Okay, possibly.
It was when Jez
loads of people on Cricket Tracker India as ever. Just a few hellos. Salam Pakira, Raju Sahari, Kalim, who else? I'll just snip back a couple more minutes.
That bounces just once on the way to the boundary.
Just open that out a wee bit. Bear with me.
Well, while you're doing that, the reason I played a little bit of the closing credits, Bowling Falls and Horses, is because that's very much what it sounded like when Jez was going through the inventory on the website. There's miles and miles of carpet tiles.
He was doing his best market trading.
No,
they're lovely.
No,
come and get your shower curtains.
No,
to you, madam. 20 bob.
No income tax, no VAT, no money back, no etc. etc.
Anyway, I was going to say some hellos. I'll do that. Dubla.
And they get a single
Jafil Kasaki, Vinod Merashi, Taran Sharma, Rajesh Kumar, to name but a few. People going for KKR would include RC Mondal and Mithu Molla. People going for RCB would include Raju Sahare and Mohan Deshmukh, amongst others. I'll have a quick look at YouTube to see if there's anything there.
Building here.
Stephen Kelk,
so far.
who's tuning in after watching Malaysia versus the Netherlands in a T20I a little earlier. Who won that one? Knuckle, I'm sure you've been all over that.
The Netherlands held their nerve and won by, I think, 15 runs. Malaysia put up a good fight in that game. Netherlands made 191-2, which Malaysia just fell short of. It's going to be Yuzvendra Chahal bowling the first over after the power play. It will be the England captain and KKR captain indeed, Eoin Morgan, who starts with a sweep down to Harshal Patel, the leading wicket taker in the tournament thus far, for 1, and we'll jingle up the two caps double captain. Chahal's first over was good, just 2 runs off it. Yet to take a wicket in the tournament thus far, and nearly on that occasion, Virat Kohli's in there at slip. Nitish Rana pokes the leg break just past the dive of Kohli at slip. Would have gone through a gully, but there's no gully in position. Nitish Rana picks up 4 to third man, moves to 14 off 8.
1, 2, 3, 4.
A little bit quicker from Yuzvendra Chahal. It was a little bit pokey from Rana, but he got enough bat on it to get it past Kohli. I think Chahal is being very harsh on Virat Kohli when he says, "Why didn't you catch that?" That went very quick and very wide. Chahal in again, leg break, turns a little bit. Rana tries to cut, can't make enough room, can't beat backward point. There is no run. It's not been a brilliant tournament for wrist spinners thus far. I've also seen Rahul Chahar take a little bit of treatment, although he was in the first game against RCB, although he's been better midweek. Kuldeep Yadav yet to play for Kolkata Knight Riders. Rana thinking about the reverse sweep, then goes back into his stance and ends up dill scooping it, really, just lifting it up over his shoulder, head out of the way, over the head of AB de Villiers. Lovely improvisation and placement from Nitish Rana. 4 runs. Lovely use the bottom hand there, just changing the grip to make sure that he can get the bat under the ball and lifting it up over the wicketkeeper's head. Challenge here, Aninda, for Yuzvendra Chahal, having been hit for 2 fours in 3 balls.
It's a challenge for the KKR. I don't think it matters with bowling.
Powered by Chahal down the throat of mid-wicket, and Yuzvendra Chahal does have his first wicket of IPL 2021. It was tossed up from Yuzvendra Chahal. Well, not really tossed up exactly. It was full, not especially flighted. Rana got plenty of it, but picked out the man at deep mid-wicket. 10 yards, or really even a couple of yards either side of him, would have been 4, but it's gone straight down his throat. Yuzvendra Chahal has a wicket. Nitish Rana gone for 18 off 11, and he, like Tripathi, is gone before he, and Shubman Gill indeed is gone just as he was starting to look seriously dangerous. I think that's Devdutt Padikkal out there at deep mid-wicket, taking a very simple catch 5 yards in off the rope. KKR 66 for 3, and now I need 10.5 and over. We're into the middle order.
You missed about, I called you up. How's that?
Question of nice timing, shame about the placement.
Yeah, it's been Harsh Patel, of course, who's been very much the pick of the RCB bowlers, isn't it? With that 5 for 27.
Yeah, indeed.
He leads their wickets as well as obviously the best figures and the best
It was
average.
very, very impressive the other day.
Bowled superbly at the depth thus far, getting the ball to swing, the slower balls dipping as well. Harshal Patel, he's taken 7 wickets in the first 2 games, leading wicket taker in the tournament. Glenn Maxwell, by the way, is now the leading run scorer in the tournament, albeit not every team's played 3 games yet. Well, it's current captain and former captain, captained KKR till halfway through last year, and indeed captained Tamil Nadu to win in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, the Dinesh Karthik. He won't be on strike because they crossed while the ball was in the air. Short to googly from Chahal. Morgan goes back, punches it past deep mid-wicket. Padikkal fields coming in off the mid-wicket fence, and they'll take a single, and that's the end of the over, so Dinesh Karthik will still not be on strike. KKR 67 for 3 off 7. I will just jingle up Dinesh Karthik and then we'll go with socials.
Dinesh Karthik had some questions to ask when he found out BJ he was shagging his wife. Oh shit. Do not believe that the rumour is true. He was kept out of the team from jealousy. Not true.
Yeah, Tamil Nadu captain, former KKR captain, and for a while on not particularly friendly terms, or rather awkward terms, with Murali Vijay.
Farong sends a picture of Del Boy in the shape of David Jason, likening him very much to Messi Jez, as Messi Jez was in his street trader mode, trying to flog our merch.
Guerrilla independent traders. As Washington is in, down the leg side, just tickled by Morgan. Dinesh Karthik was alive to the possibility of a single because it didn't go very far. Karthik was almost at the other end before Morgan had got halfway down the wicket. In fact, he didn't manage to tickle it down the leg side. It'll be signalled a wide, so it came off the gloves of A.B. de Villiers.
Wide. If KKR is to have any chance whatsoever, I mean, this is the pair that needs to do it.
Yeah, setting it up to get it within Andre Russell range. Morgan was by far KKR's best batter last season, but hasn't really fired as yet. Dinesh Karthik's shown what he can do briefly in the tournament thus far. Gave a real impetus to the end of their innings in their first game, KKR.
Well, Dinesh Karthik's probably the best Indian T20 batsman not to be in the Indian team.
That's probably fair. More of a death hitter than someone coming in the middle overs, as Bangladesh can tell you. Of course, Washington Sundar pulls out of his next delivery. The men back are at deep backward square, deep mid-wicket, just in front of square and long on. Karthik spotted something behind the bowler's arm again, which means that Washington Sundar isn't able to bowl this delivery. Umpire Shamsuddin doing an awful lot of it's fine, calm down. Washington is in this time, off spinner outside off stump, a little bit of turn. Karthik waits and cuts out to the other man on the boundary at deep point, single
Great
taken.
shot, driven straight down the wicket.
Washington has a longish run up for a spinner, 10 yards or so. Tall man, of course, needs to get his stride pattern sorted. Morgan facing up to Washington. He goes over the wicket to the left-hander. No aggression from Morgan just yet, just comes forward. Doesn't really get anywhere near the pitch of the ball, and it squirts off the inside part of the bat for de Villiers to do his own fielding, running out to mid-wicket, single taken. Tidy start from Washington Sundar bar the wide in this over. As we get a shot of a precariously placed sponsor's car. I see they've upgraded it to an SUV from a city run-around that we had in the India T20 series.
Oh yeah, no, it's been the SUV they featured in this one.
This one doesn't turn as much from Washington Sundar. Karthik was playing for turn. It comes off the outside part of the bat to short third man. There is no run. Nicely bowled by Washington Sundar.
Another indication that there's clearly more money in the IPL. You get a bigger car.
The Tata Safari has been for many, many years the SUV of choice in India. It really is a good car. For especially made for Indian conditions.
There you go, Tata, the unpaid-for ad slot. This is shorter from Washington Sundar, who doesn't quite field off his own bowling as he gets into a bit of a tangle with Morgan, and it goes under Washington's hand and through Morgan's legs. Karthik pushing off the back foot, single taken. But no boundaries off the over thus far.
It's better than mentioning Paytm, I have to say.
Well, I mean, you could pay for your Tata with a Paytm money transfer. In fact, I think they do, or certainly they did, pay the player of the match winner their award with a money transfer, which they did live on field, which was a bit of fun. Tossed up outside off stump by Washington Sundar. Morgan drives, but it comes off the bottom part of the bat straight back to the bowler. There is no run. Good over from Washington thus far.
Whenever they do those stunts on TV, at least in India, it's a fake.
I'd imagine so.
They're not allowed to transfer without the deducting the tax.
So it's like someone turning on the Christmas lights. The celebrity in question is not actually pressing the button. As this time, Eoin Morgan backs away. That's what happened. Washington dropped the ball in his run-up. So dead ball. So it's taken a little bit longer than one might imagine. He's in for his third ball of the over. It does tend to be used in the early part of the innings. Washington Sundar, I think that's when he's at his best, early and middle stages of the innings. Bowls on middle and leg stump, and Morgan pushes off the back foot to mid-on. They take a single, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs only off the over from Washington Sundar. Tidy stuff, and the Kolkata Knight Riders are 73 for 3 off 8, need now 11 and over.
Angelic Scooter says, the strategic ad break. I've been clearly watching far too much international cricket in recent times, so seems to be pining somewhat for the lost art of the strategic ad break. Farong says, Maxwell failed by 1 run, AB failed by 3 runs to better the first innings score from Middlesex in their respective matches. Oh, right, yes. Don't like to think about Middlesex's performance at Hampshire. I haven't even looked at the score today, although we were possibly looking like we were making a lot more of a fight of the second innings there. Gupta, Ramkumar and Napu Sujan Ansari are all joining us on Cricket Tracker India, which is lovely.
Yuzvendra Chahal in. Morgan goes to the reverse sweep, but it's a little bit too full for him to play that stroke, even with that real whip of the wrists that he does have, and it comes off the sort of face of the splice, if that makes any sense. It just sort of skimmed the bat and dribbles past AB de Villiers to short third man, come through for a hurried single. Dinesh Karthik taking a leg stump guard to Yuzvendra Chahal. There's 3 men back on the onside at long leg, deep square leg and long on. There's also a long off and a deep point in play. So I think Karthik is trying to access the offside and go with whatever turn there is, as Chahal is in. Kohli in there at slip. Nicely bowled by Yuzvendra Chahal. Nice bit of flight, nice bit of dip and drift, and Karthik is only able to block back to the bowler. There is no run. Very nicely bowled. A sort of classical leg break, really, from Chahal, and in the.
I like Chahal. I mean, I know he got beaten up against England.
Googly and not picked at all by Dinesh Karthik. Big appeal. Nitin Menon raises the finger. I think AB de Villiers made the review signal, even though it's been given out, so I'm not quite sure what was going on there. A lovely googly, though, by Chahal. Follows up the leg break with the googly, and with the pressure piling on KKR, they lose their former captain, lose their wicketkeeper. Karthik not bothering to review. It did look like it was going to take the top of middle stump. A lovely googly bowl with the scrambled seam, little bit of turn, hit the front pad, and will definitely be hitting the stumps. Lovely bowling by Yuzvendra Chahal. You go 2 games without a wicket and you get 2 in 2 overs.
Yeah, light buses, I was about to say. The light buses, they suddenly come along 2 at once.
2.3 overs, 2 for 13 represents an excellent day at the office for Yuzvendra Chahal. Thus far, KKR 74 for 4. And KKR in a little bit of trouble, to say the least. They resist the temptation to send Andre Russell further up the order and bring in a very experienced player and a good player of spin. 2 left-handers at the crease now. It is the former Bangladesh captain.
Shakib, 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 Hasan play for Worcester. Shakib, 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 Shakib Al Hassan played for Worcester.
Slip in place. Oh, beautiful delivery from Yuzvendra Chahal. Just skipped on past the outside edge of Shakib Al Hassan as he wasn't quite sure which way the ball was going to turn, if anywhere. It was bowled for the googly. Didn't turn particularly, but it did bounce, and Shakib absolutely flummoxed by that delivery. So we've had a beautifully flighted leg break, to which Karthik blocked back to the bowler, a googly which trapped him LBW, and then that beautiful delivery to finish up with. This
went on with the arm more though. I mean, it wasn't quite a googly. It didn't turn a lot.
He tried to. It was held for the googly. It was bowled as a googly. It just didn't turn that much.
Yeah. Well, certainly it was too good for Shakib on that occasion.
Slip in, short mid-wicket in, Chahal in, outside off stump. Oh, would have been a fantastic catch, and I think actually Chahal might have got half a hand to that, so technically a drop. Shakib trying to go down the track, decided that prodding from the crease wasn't going to be in his interest. Didn't quite get to the pitch of the ball, and just hung in the air long enough for Yuzvendra Chahal to leap and get half a hand on it. Technically a drop, but has probably also saved 3 runs. Shakib off the mark with a single. That would have been some catch. And yes, we're seeing this LBW of Dinesh Karthik hitting middle stump, 80% of the way up. It's been a beautiful over from Chahal thus far. A wicket and 2 runs only off it as Morgan pushes. That would have been straight down short leg's throat had there been a short leg, and we're almost at the stage where that kind of thing might be seen. Again, bowled the googly. Didn't turn that much, but he's getting his googly to bounce on him though, and he absolutely flummoxed Shakib, Morgan and Dinesh Karthik in that over. Brilliant from Chahal. KKR really 75 for 4.
Yeah.
I mean, you've written the book on spin. Talk us through that over.
No pressure. Yeah, I just, I mean, if you read my book, you'll see I have half a chapter on Chahal. I'm a big fan of his, and he's a very, very intelligent bowler. So the moment he saw them going at bowling, you realize he immediately switched to his googling, and it's not turning much, and I think that's what's creating the problem for the batsman. He's not a big turner of the ball anyway, but these googlies, every one of them he's bowled has just turned that much to trouble them, but not
and he's
more.
getting it to bounce as well. Sundar in round the wicket, and it's blocked by Shakib into the offside. There is no run, and he's managing to bowl quite full, but without really flighting the ball. So it's not as easy to come down the track to.
Well, he does bowl flat. I mean, he's not a big flighter of the ball anyway, but unlike Kuldeep, for example. Washington
in also bowling flat, tall man, kind of bowling the ball down out of the hand, and Morgan, as he comes down the track, is almost yorked, but manages to drive inside out. In fact, Shakib, manages to drive inside out to Maxwell down there at long off. Single taken. It's been a little while since the last boundary. The last boundary was in fact, let me just have a look, almost 3 overs ago, and well, that will be the boundary to break the nearly 3 overs without one, but Morgan didn't know a great deal about it, went for the reverse sweep, didn't read the length of it very well at all, comes off the toe end of the bat, loops up over AB de Villiers and down to the long stop boundary for a lucky but much needed 4.
This bowler knows how to hit the ball. Let's see where they go. Wickets in hand, heading into
directly over the top of Eoin Morgan and AB de Villiers' head. As Washington continues round the wicket, tosses this up and it just stops in the wicket a little bit. Morgan not sure whether to go through with the full drive or just push it down the ground, ends up chipping it through where a mid-off would have been, but with long off down on the boundary. It's only a single, but Washington also getting a little bit of joy out of this surface and beating batters in the air. Kohli's in there prowling at short extra cover to Shakib Al Hassan, who comes down the track and gets a little bit too close to this and I think closes himself off. He was trying to go offside, ends up going onside off the inside part of the bat out to deep mid wicket. Single taken, to 7 runs off the over, but 4 of them with a very lucky top-edged reverse sweep. I think the word prowling is very much the operative one with Kohli in there at cover. You can see the energy in this RCB team. I don't know if they've ever won 3 in a row to start the tournament.
Probably not.
shorter. Morgan goes back and pulls out through mid-wicket, but there's a man out there, and it'll just be a single. So Washington finishes with 1 for 33 off his 4, and probably he's bowled a little bit better than those figures suggest. Certainly in the last couple of overs he's been very good. And out halfway, KKR are 82 for 4, need over 2 runs a ball if they are going to stop RCB making it 3 from 3.
For wrong, but I realise he's replying to me in messages. It was going back to the discussion around messages and being a Market Street trader. I'd tweeted out the terrible joke about what's the difference between a Market Street trader and a dashant, and the answer of course being that one hauls out his wares on the street. Farong says, when I think of a dashant, Colin from Dunny on the Woe from Blackadder jumps into my mind. Not too sure why. Leah says, why is this game so one-sided? The bear isn't even on comms. No indeed not. Shubman Pawar and Siradu Halangali are very much favouring RCB.
Hello, it is going to be spin, but it's not going to be Yuzvendra Chahal bowling through. It's going to be the orange cap holder, the man who top scored for RCB with a quite brilliant 78 off 48. Bowling for the first time in this year's IPL, starts round the wicket to Eoin Morgan, who punches it into the covers for a single. Now bowling to Shakib Hasan is Glenn Maxwell, bowling a little bit more round arm than either Washington or Chahal. This one stops in the wicket as well. Suddenly the pitch is looking a little bit harder to bat on than it was during the day, or maybe it's just the pressure of the situation and the trajectories of these spinners and slow bowlers. Shakib came down the track to the second ball off the inside part of the bat. It came, didn't get near the pitch of the ball. Single taken. Glenn Maxwell, tidy power play or T20 spinner, bowled a lot in the power play for Punjab Kings last year. Certainly can be relied upon to get through a couple of overs. That, though, is a wonderful shot by Eoin Morgan. Just a little fraction over pitched, and Morgan getting low in his stance, bended back knee, and with an easy fling, or rather a swing of the bat with a flick of the wrists, launches Maxwell back over his head. Beautiful shot, 6 runs.
Oh, I say, chap, you're getting left.
Well, with the kind of day that Maxwell's having, I'm not surprised that he's bowling.
Oh, good take by AB de Villiers. Reverse sweep from Morgan, much faster and flatter and fuller by Maxwell, having been hit for 6 back over his own head. Morgan went for the reverse sweep. That's bounced up out of the foot marks from a Yorker length, and de Villiers has taken that like it was absolutely nothing. Brilliant behind those stumps from
that was
AB
hockey
de Villiers. Yeah, very, very impressive. Ice hockey stuff. As the next ball is pushed down the ground to mid-wicket. But seriously, I mean, that's unbelievable wicket-keeping from de Villiers.
I think if you're Virat Kohli, you must be thinking, well, crikey, if they could play like that when they were batting, let's have them bowling and wicket-keeping at the same time and see what happens. It's got to be their day.
Shorter, flatter, more round arm. Shakib cramped for room. Single taken off the inside part of the bat. 10 runs off the over, but enough there for Maxwell to be encouraged with. It was a beautiful shot by Morgan to get that 6. 11 overs gone, KKR 93 for 4, and still falling further behind the rate.
12.44 the run rate.
Sorry, you've got Maxwell bowling, you've got AB de Villiers keeping, and Morgan trying to reverse sweep. That's like, three giants of the reverse sweep all working together at the same time.
It is really good observation indeed. I can tell you that our friends at CricViz have the RCBs at 90% and KKR at 10, which I think
it's very generous.
Many of us would disagree with. Do you think that's overly generous, Benindo?
I think that's overly generous. The 10% is overly generous.
There is Andre Russell, of course, to come, who can win a game from almost any position.
I don't think he can win a game from here.
Let's see.
But you think the 10% was generous?
Yes.
Ah, right. Well, yeah, indeed.
It is going to be the leading wicket taker in this year's tournament. 7 wickets in 2 games. Has been brilliant at the death. Has been Harshal Patel, transferred in from Delhi Capitals last year. He's in, right arm over the wicket to Shakib Hasan. Bowls tight to leg stump. Shakib just nudges it round the corner to long leg for a single off the bowling of this man.
The next guy up is Harshal Patel.
Well, Maxwell for an over gives them a little bit of flexibility. There's lots of bowling options in this RCB team. Got Shahbaz Ahmed as well. This is Harshal is the 6th bowler used, so potentially 7 bowling options, which means that no one has to continue if they're having a bad day. Very different character of team to RCB over the last few years. Goes full and wide across Eoin Morgan, who tries to flay it through point, but is too early on the stroke, and it's fielded at extra cover by Virat Kohli. There is no run. I think they have, they've done smart acquisition work. RCB.
It's been really good. I mean, they've gone so many years with disappointing results. I think this year they've really done a good job, given them the best chance.
Yeah, spent the money. Spent plenty of money on Glenn Maxwell and Kyle Jamieson, but if you have the money to spend, and they had more money to spend than anyone else, I think. No, except Punjab Kings, but they had a lot of money to spend, and you if you want the guy, you pay the money. Slower ball from Harshal Patel, a cutter, one going across the left-hander. Morgan just pushes a single into the offside. And KKR moved to 95 for 4.
And given that they had the mini auction this year, I think they were able to be very focused on exact slots that they wanted to fill up, which is how Chennai got Moeen, of course, and they got Maxwell and Kyle Jamieson. So they've been able to be very specific, very focused.
Yeah, I think that's right. As Harshal comes round the wicket to Shakib, another cutter. This one going the other way into the left-hander, and Shakib pushes a single off the inside part of the bat to Shahbaz Ahmed coming in off the deep square leg boundary. Yeah, the mini auction can be a blessing and a curse, and sometimes the tyranny of choice can be an issue.
Yeah, it was very interesting because the first time I had nothing better to do, so I was watching the entire mini auction, and it was very interesting seeing the choices that the teams made.
The strategies are very, very interesting in the sort of the bidding and the counter bidding, and you bid a little bit more so that the other team have to spend more money than they want to on a player, and all of this stuff, and the planning that goes into it.
And then you suddenly drop out, right?
And then it is a fascinating little slice of the cricketing year. Harshal goes full, almost drivable for Eoin Morgan, but it's a little bit wider than he thought it was going to be, and he has to drag it into the onside down to long on. Harshal bowling well to his field here, none for 4 off 5 balls thus far.
Surely the risk there is you end up with a player you don't want. If people
yeah,
are
but
wise to you.
You have a cap. You have a level beyond which you won't go, and then if you end up with them, you've got a player who could be useful, but you haven't spent a great deal of money on him. Full outside off stump, and Shakib pushes a single to Siraj at backward point. Very good first over from Harshal Patel. No boundaries, just 5 runs off it after 12 overs. KKR 98 for 4, need over 13 runs and over.
Leah says KKR going nowhere at a pace that would have been a match winning in a lot of the previous games. Yeah, that's probably true. Warren says, morning all. Forgot you were on so early from his part of the world, which I believe is in the US. From memory, Farong's sent us a picture. I can't quite see what the picture is. Oh, it's from Blackadder. There you go. It's referring to the previous discussion. Most of our friends on Cricket Tracker India are very definitely leaning in a Bangalore direction. Shubman Pawar, Deepak Gupta, DGE, Shatipal Yadav and Ravi Neganal are all definitely backing RCB here, and they're probably right too.
Harshal Patel's just gone off the field for a comfort break of some kind. Maxwell back into the attack. Shakib this time goes over his head. Long off was a little bit wider, so Shakib backs away, waits for it, and powers it over Maxwell's head. Second 6 in a couple of overs off Glenn Maxwell.
Oh, I say, chap, give me any lip.
He really uses the bottom handle well, huh?
Yeah, the use of the bottom hand has been a feature of today's power hitting. We saw De Villiers using it beautifully to guide wide deliveries over third man and through point, and Shakib there just bringing the bottom hand into play to make sure that he kept the bat straight and got under the ball enough. Long off has moved a little bit straighter now, or maybe it's just gone to get the ball. I think the ball might need to be sanitised by the umpire as someone outside of the bubble threw it back, and Nitin Menon slightly loses the piece of sanitising paper but catches it again. Good hands from Nitin Menon, class umpire.
He was signalling wide very stylishly earlier.
He's a quality umpire, Nitin Menon. We've seen him had to do an awful lot of work over the last few months, and Put it this way, there's a good reason he's on the elite panel, as Maxwell is in round the wicket to Shakib. This one holds up in the surface. Shakib came down the track. Maxwell fired it in a little bit shorter. Shakib tries to go through with the aggressive stroke anyway, just ships it in the end up over the non-striker, and they come through for a single as the ball stops at the end of the circle. Morgan on strike, 21 off 17. Shakib and Morgan starting to look a little bit more fluent, but that's good from Maxwell. A little bit flatter this time. Morgan can only push back to the bowler. There is no run. 100 needed off 45 balls for KKR to get their second win of the tournament. This is fired in very short. Morgan was waiting for that. I think Maxwell thought Morgan was going to come down the track. He didn't. He waited for it and powered a pull shot for 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6.
Fair to say that Morgan won the game of rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, Kohli is not looking too happy right now, but
a wicket will cheer him up.
Yeah.
It's noticeable how high Eoin Morgan holds the bat. Remember that Adam Gilchrist used to hold right up at the top of the bat. Different to somebody like, say, Kohli, who will hold the bat much lower down. This is punched by Morgan off the back foot to long off to come through for a single. Morgan trying to get the absolute maximum out of his bat swing. Shakib comes down the track. I think that's a missed stumping, but it would have been a very difficult stumping for De Villiers, because that was fired in and ends up almost as a Yorker. We saw him take that delivery that bounced out of the footmarks, but that pretty much Yorked De Villiers as Morgan came down, Shakib rather came down the track. Well bowled by Maxwell though, to see Shakib coming and fire it wider. De Villiers just unable to take. Maybe a really top-class wicketkeeper could have taken that. Or maybe it pitched a little bit shorter than I thought it was, but it just skidded through out of the footmarks. Yeah. I think a really top-class wicketkeeper may have been able to take that. Not an easy stumping chance, but a presentable one goes begging.
He's human. He must be human after all.
He is indeed. He's not a bad wicketkeeper, De Villiers, but he's not a brilliant wicketkeeper. 14 runs off that over from Glenn Maxwell. That's more like it for KKR. They need 93 off the last 7 overs.
Leah says, I don't like the RCB's name. Neutral spirits that, for some reason, are marketed as whiskey would have been more honest. Or you could go for the alternative, Booze Hounds of Bangalore. Yes, of course, they're named after the Challenger whiskey, aren't they?
Yes, they're owned by one of their owners is a brewery. Harshal continues, bowls full and wide and slower outside off stump, and Shakib, Morgan is swinging and missing outside off stump. There is no run. We're seeing this missed stumping chance again. As I say, tough but presentable. Herschel is in. Very impressive he's been thus far in IPL 2021. Bowling to Eoin Morgan, who tries to swing over the leg side. He's got a top edge and it's landed safe. Yuzvendra Chahal and Mohammad Siraj look at each other, but it would have taken a very fine catch, running and watching the ball come over your shoulder and diving full length, and it just had enough on it to evade both of them. Single taken, but Tony Harshal Patel continuing to cause issues.
Very much so. I think you're stealing an extra over here, by the way, Knuckle, because we're now in the 14th over.
Oh, so we are.
But not to worry, you might as well finish it. You've started, so as Magnus Magnusson used to say,
he's on a roll.
Yeah, indeed. Sorry, Tony. It will be Tony and in there and Jez to take us through the last bit of this game, and I'd better get preparing for Delhi Punjab, as this is from Harshal Patel is flicked into the onside by Shakib Al Hasan.
Like a runaway train in Indo, isn't he? Once he's on a roll, you just off he goes. You can't actually haul him back in.
Nope.
It's perpetual motion. He's now stopped. You've gone on strike, have you? You just stopped talking, Knuckle, now, have you? You're still on now to the end of the over. That was the agreement.
My sincerest apologies. As Herschel is in full, Morgan gets under this attempted drive. That is going to be caught. Virat Kohli taking a few steps round to his right from extra cover, takes the catch. Eoin Morgan gone for 29 off 23. Harshal Patel continuing his stranglehold over the middle and lower phases of these innings, particularly bowling second. It was full. It was just floated out of the fingers. Morgan got under it, got a little bit too early on it, and Kohli takes a very simple catch, and that is the end of the dangerous Eoin Morgan. Harshal Patel has his 8th wicket of the tournament. KKR 114 for 5. Andre Russell, you're my only hope.
So Nakul wanted to go out on a high.
He got Andre Russell.
Morgan.
Yeah, he got Morgan.
Russell.
He may yet have Andre Russell. He's got 2 balls to get him out.
Indeed.
Leave me with just the sweeping up of the dregs and drops and whatever's left over.
Here comes
in the slop tray.
Here comes the enormous Jamaican. He's made more of an impact really with the ball this season than the bat, but we know full well what Andre Russell is capable of.
But we know what.
Andre Russell's in your hedgerow to be alarmed now. He's just the DJ for the after show.
91 off 38 balls needed. The Russell will not be on strike as yet because they crossed while the ball was in the air. Shakib pushing the ball on the bounce back to Harshal Patel, who takes athletically off his own bowling at full pace this time. Just seeing that delivery again, that wicket of Eoin Morgan. Just lost his shape, just threw the shot too early. Bat turned in his hands, and Kohli made no mistake at cover.
Okay, well.
Harshal wandering back to the end of his mark. Has had some decent IPL seasons, but nothing quite so dramatic as this thus far. He's in last ball of his second over, last ball of my elongated spell. This is outside off stump and pushed by Shakib down the ground. There'll definitely be one. I think they'll stick at one because AB de Villiers is Glenn Maxwell's arm is not one to take on lightly. That is the end of my elongated spell, elongated by me. 115 for 5 KKR and need 91 off the. Sorry, they need 90 off the last 6 overs. But Andre Russell is at the crease.
Yes, indeed. Who do I have the pleasure of a company of? It should be an Indo and Jez.
It is indeed.
Well, welcome to the Knuckle Show, gentlemen.
I'm not all that impressed in being referred to as the dregs coming on for the end.
I was more referring to what was left in the game, not you personally, Messi Jez.
Messi Jez makes it very clear what he thinks about that particular one. If you just read what's written behind him.
Oh yeah, is that aimed at me? More than likely.
Not at all. It's aimed as part of the marketing strategy. I'll get on the card again in a minute.
Well, as supposedly the man in charge of marketing, I'm delighted to hear we have a strategy, so that's encouraging news. 115 for 5. The run rate has steepled to 15 and over. Kyle Jameson, lofty.
What's 15 with Andre Russell there?
Well, let's see what he has, and that one is wide, and Shakib has lofted it up over extra cover, but it will just be a single. There was a man down there. He's replacing, of course, Glenn Maxwell, and we'll jingle him, I think.
And that's the story of how Kyle Jameson became a man.
Well, however he became a man, he certainly grew very tall while he was doing it. No doubt about that. Andre Russell, yet to face a ball. He's going to face Jameson first up. Right-handed, orange-haired. Obviously, we can't really see his electrifying shock of orange hair because it's under that golden helmet.
Electrifying golden helmet.
Yeah. In comes Jameson. And waited for by Russell and steered, but straight to backward point. There will be no run. Another dot ball, and already that run rate gets closer to 16 than it was to 15. 109 points. What's that in? Oh, that's the Dream 11 Fantasy League thing for those that follow that. Who else is in it? De Villiers, Rahul, Varun Chakravarthy, and Rahul Tripathi all seem to be doing. These are the scorers of the most points this match in that thing.
Those things are a mechanism for making you feel bad when you forgot to change your team. As far as
I guess so. As that one climbs a little bit on Russell, but he gets on top of it and steers it down to third man, gets himself off the mark. So he's off and running quite literally after 2 balls. He's got himself a single. He will bring Shakib Al Hasan back onto strike. A man, Shakib Hasan, not making himself particularly popular in his home country at the moment, I don't think, with his attitude to his own playing. He was quite defensive, wasn't he? Saying he definitely hadn't said he didn't want to play Test cricket. But,
I think he was just trying to confuse everyone.
Well, I think to a certain extent he was. Jameson in big high action of his, and it quite slower ball actually, I think, in the end, and it looped, or the old tennis ball bounce. But it was it fooled Shakib Hasan, and it was through to AB de Villiers, and there was no run. We're watching various shots of Virat Kohli and his different facial expressions. I think is a little montage that we're going through, and he's going through the full gamut of which he is capable, from angry gremlin to happy gremlin, and all points in between is what we're seeing there. He is very watchable, though. I'd rather have that than a very non-expressive Captain Jameson in. Oh, that one is lofted back over the wicket-keeper's head by Shakib. He certainly read that one. It's 4, 1 bounce, and it's 4 more to the score. Jameson shrugs. Probably.
Runs to get in 5 overs and 1 ball.
Well, with Russell there, you just never know. But that one is a slower ball, clever slower ball by Jameson, and the impeccable de Villiers makes a bit of a fluff of it, although it was quite wide. It's the end of the over. Umpire Nitin Menon shows us his watch to let us know there's 2.5 minutes for you messers to converse with our audience, however you wish to use those 2.5 minutes.
Well, Warren said, and this could be said of any number of miscatches this season, should have been caught if someone called for it. I don't actually recall seeing it, but that's been the case a lot in the last 6 months or so, of poor calling for balls in the air. And he also says, is Ursa Major looming? Which I take it means, does he think the Bear's coming because it's going to be so one-sided? And
it's a bear type game, isn't it?
Bear-like game, yeah. Did you read out Leah's comment about the RCB's name?
Yes.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. There's plenty of people. Action on Cricket Tracker India, I can tell you about. Lots of loves and kisses and hearts and comments to play with.
Yes. So we've got Pankaj Kumar, Deepak Gupta, Govindraj, Gaurav Bhaya, Anbiki, Ravi Neginahal, Deepak Gupta. So I think we've had him before. So welcome to all of you. The main tweet seems to be either hello or come on KKR or come on RCB. But it's just lovely to have you all with us and knowing you're watching this. So thank you.
And it's lovely message having you pronounce the names almost 80% right as opposed to 80% wrong from Tony.
Hang on, are you saying I get them 80% wrong?
You get them 80% wrong, but
do I?
Yeah, but you are very confident about it.
Well, exactly.
I have to give you that.
that I have to say, a bit like the facts that you attribute to always being correct on my side. It's the Naylor style hyperbolic conviction that is what we need. That's definitely a thing. Yes. Look, the run rate, gentlemen, is now close to 17. And you feel with 15 completed overs, a big over has to come, and it has to be Russell somehow that is going to have to explode and haul it into the realms of the achievable, don't you?
Well, let's put it this way. Even if he has one great over and he scores 30 runs in that over, KKR is still not going to win.
Yep. Well, if he got 31, what would that take them to? It would still only take 250, and that would still leave 55 still to win, wouldn't it? So, yeah, you're right, they would be pushing it 121 for 5. They are at the moment.
Of course, it's not helped much by the fact that the target is as large as it is because Russell went for 38 in 2 overs.
Exactly.
Well, and this one,
even if he redeemed himself with that one,
Harshal Patel into the attack where he's bowling his third over, and it was full, and Russell actually had to play it pretty conventionally and just push it away to mid-off, and there was no run.
You reckon if Harshal Patel is taken in the Indian T20 team, that might be a good idea if he continues playing like this. Yeah.
Well, remember, he's got that 5 for 27 to his name so far.
I think
he comes over the wicket, and this one is pulled though by Russell. I think he has not quite got all of that. It's one bounce though down to long
Maxwell.
on, and it was just be a single. That was Maxwell down there, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was quick enough to take that pretty well one-handed. Actually, they're easy to get wrong when you're down there. You've only got to
not if you're Glenn Maxwell today in Chennai.
Well, not
you
when
don't get anything wrong.
Very much going your way, and he took it very tidily. Russell has his hand on his hip. Whether he's actually thinking, whatever I do, we're in trouble here, I don't know. That run rate is over 18. That's a good ball, and Shakib just chips it away into the onside and will just stroll a single. 123 for 5. 82 runs would be needed. I say would be, almost adopting the fatalistic view that it isn't going to happen, along with an Indo of 27 balls, which is a big ask indeed.
And you've got to remember, I've got the Eden Gardens behind me.
Well, you do, yeah. And give away if ever one was needed. That we're not actually at the ground. As this one is thumped, but really does not got hold of, and it was just dribbles its way to mid-on. Russell runs, but he's running with the air of a man who's frustrated that he just didn't get more of that.
A very significant impact on net run rate if this continues to be so one-sided. Which
negatively indeed for the Knight Riders, very much so. We're looking at previous Russell glories, but he's going to need them and plenty more today. 81 off 26, the ask. Harshal Patel is in, full, driven, off-driven, and two fielders will converge. And in fact, it was the man at mid-on who fielded rather than the man at mid-off, which shows, I suppose, how on their toes the RCBs have been in the field. And that was well fielded again, just a single. That run rate creeps to 19.2. And it's a long way. I won't even look at WinViz. If someone wants to have a look at that, I'm guessing it's now about 98%.
Oh, it's not worth it.
Not worth it. We know WinViz can, blows with the breeze, and the breeze is very much blowing in the direction of the RCBs at the moment. In comes Harshal Patel. That one's a better shot though, but straight down to deep mid wicket. Maxwell again does the fielding. A fine throw, pick up and throw. No, I beg your pardon, it was Virat Kohli. Well, it's the end of the over. 1 for 13 for Harshal Patel, 126 for 5 are the Knight Riders, 24 for Shakib, 4 for Russell, who's yet to really get going and is very frustrated about it.
Excellent.
Messages, what do you got?
I'm delighted to say you're getting some love on Twitter, Tony.
Good Lord.
Warren says he's very grateful for Tony making announcing efforts, certainly better than a plethora of Steves.
A plethora of Steves? Who are these Steves?
No, he's appreciating your announcing efforts, all those names.
Oh, well,
right.
It's the efforts, I have to say.
Pujara. It's the Pujara thing which he's referring to with the Steves.
Yeah.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah. No, I agree.
And Farong says it's interesting to note that the RCB and DC switched venues after tonight's game. Will this bring an end to RCB's glorious start by moving to Mumbai?
That's a really interesting question, just psychologically, if you've made this your home and you're feeling comfortable and it's brought you 3 wins, it might just be that little niggle in the back of their mind. Yuzvendra Chahal is going to be back into the attack, so we're going to be seeing spin to replace pace. And this one, Russell says, thank you very much. I'm happy to see you, Yuzvendra Chahal. Welcome to bowling to me, and it is thumped over long on for 6. Well, yeah, the leggy there just absolutely got murdered by Russell, who has his helmet off. He's looking around.
His hair and his helmet are the same colour, right?
Not far off. Yeah, but he has taken his helmet off. Unless he's able to grow sort of side guards on his hair as well, which would be quite like have some Princess Leia look, which would be quite unusual. That one he absolutely thumped, didn't he? My word, it was more over deep mid wicket to be fair, but he had time. He's a big man with some big forearms, and by Jove,
he put in an effort into that one,
and he used them very determinedly. Chahal, more air, up it goes again. Has he got it enough this time? It's just 4, I think, but it's 10 off 2. Yuzvendra Chahal has
this is that over
2 wickets, but this could be that big over. It may be too little, too late, but it's entertaining stuff.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
I wonder if there was part of the psychology here was to almost tempt Russell and almost wanting him to do this.
I'm sure.
If that was, it hasn't worked so far, but it's got 4 more balls when it might, because he really knows it was now or never a couple of overs ago. But he's giving it a go with considerable determination. Quicker and cut this time, and it'll be 4 more over point. Goodness me, 14 off 3. Going well is Russell, not going so well Chahal.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Bit more width, and Russell, goodness me, carted that, didn't he? But with a degree of style that time. And it went really backward a point. What has Yuzvendra Chahal got to stem the flow of Russell's belligerence? Let's find out. In he comes. It's wide, and it's cut again, and it's cut again past point, and it's cut again for 4 more.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
We see another close-up of Virat Kohli used. We've seen the full gamut of facial expressions for him today, and that was his WTF face, I think you could safely say. Because he's definitely unimpressed with what he's seen from his leggy.
Yep.
And Lockie Ferguson is watching on in amusement. Yuzvendra Chahal is now waving forlornly. Although stable doors, I suspect, come to mind.
I think he's waving for divine intervention.
Well, he's waving for something. What's he got? This time he's bowling to Russell again, who steps back, cuts once more. Does it have enough to reach the bit of boundary? Not this time. There's a man down there in that deep cover boundary. And this time it is just a single. And Yuzvendra Chahal can breathe a huge sigh of relief that he isn't going to have to bowl to Andre Russell again this over. And he will probably hope, or indeed again, full stop, the way that has gone for him.
He bowled 3 almost identical balls, and he was lucky the third one didn't go for 4 as well.
Well, he was rather. Shakib is going to face the final ball of the over. Shakib can step back, cut away to point, fielded down there by the unmistakably tall figure of Kyle Jameson. It's the end of a somewhat forgettable over. 20 runs for poor Yuzvendra Chahal. It will hold that run rate in a bit. Let's have a little look at what it is now. It's gone under 20, 19.6.
Yeah, so basically they have to do that every over.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and maybe, well, again, possibly the thinking.
And Chahal's spell is over.
Yeah, well, perhaps Morgan was thinking, I've got to get him in somewhere rather than leave it right to the end. Now's the time to do it. And you might have got a wicket with a catch in the deep. Sorry, Kohli. Yeah, quite right. And 59 off 18. It's doable, It is just doable. It's doable if these two, and particularly Russell, somehow conjure up something quite extraordinary. 146 for 5, 3 overs left.
You sound like one of those commentators in a football match where it's 6-0 with 10 minutes to go, and you're trying to make people keep watching. I
was just going to say that.
Well,
I'm
watching Watford at Wembley against Manchester City. Well, it's Kyle Jameson who is in, and it's wide, and it's hauled really down to long on, and it will just be a single, and a little bit of stability and predictability is back into proceedings. Good ball that from Jameson. It will bring Russell back onto strike. 23 off 11 for him, so he's been going a shade over 2 runs. Ball strike rate over 200.
This ball.
And as an Indo points out, that obviously seeing deep into the second innings of a game of a T20 for you and Indo is quite an unusual event, of course. What's Jameson got? Pulled high! He has hit it for 6.
There you go.
The seer of Singapore called it, and he called it right. It was high over mid-wicket. It's 6 more.
Oh, I say, chap, give me any lip.
Well, surely not. Surely not. You will. You see, you'll be laughing the other side of your face if they do end up winning this. I know it's highly unlikely, but Andre Russell is not going to die wondering. Russell muscle, says the scorecard. To no one in particular, because obviously there's no one in the ground.
I'm not sure bowling the slower ball is a weapon to be used against Russell at the moment.
Well, let's see what Jameson's got. What is he going to come up with? High bouncer. Now, is that going to be given as a no baller? It is given as a wide by Nitin Menon. Flaps those wings once more.
Wide.
So there's an extra to play with. An extra run, an extra ball. It was a horrible ball. Andre Russell still had to go for it, but he kind of has to. Kohli now is looking, well, I don't know, distraught.
He's saying, pitch it up.
Well, I think he is looking for the fuller ball, and I think he probably should be. So now we're going to have a fielding convention. We have Jameson and Kohli and is that Mohammad Siraj? 3 of them, or 2 of them, all offering advice, craning their necks upwards to see if they can shout it loud enough to reach the upper part of the stratosphere where Jameson's head is. And that one is pulled by Russell. He isn't going to get it all the way though. It will just be a single. It'll bring Shakib back onto strike. 50 off 15.
I've worked out who Jamison reminds me of. When he's looking perplexed, he reminds me very much of, is it Greg Davies, the British comedian who's
he was also very tall.
Yes.
Obviously somewhat fuller of figure.
Is also very tall.
He is. What did I say?
You said he was.
Well, no, he is. Oh, sorry, I beg his pardon. Yeah. No, I said he is very tall. I said he's also very tall. 155 for 5. Shakib 26. He's on strike. He's facing Kyle Jameson, who was looking for ways to keep the lid on Andre Russell somehow. Let's see what he's got this time. And he's bowled Shakib, who'd given himself heaps of room by stepping away. And it was full. It was straight. Back goes off stump. Wicket taken, 155 for 6, and the RCB's looking on the road now to another victory, a 3rd on the trot. Jameson clearly enjoyed that. Well, not surprised. He has a right
he
to.
Left all 3 stumps open.
He did. He stepped away, didn't he? And was looking to kind of pull it round the corner, really, but he'd left himself too much to do to get anywhere near that. As you rightly say, Anindo, he'd exposed all the timbers, and one of them was going to be hit, and it was the leg one in the end. 155 for 6.
So Varun tells us that last over of Chahar's was 20 was his most expensive so far in the tournament. And Leah says, I knew something was fishy at Yorkshire when I heard their nickname Chakravarthy Steve and not Ernesto, in reference to a 20th century motorcycle enthusiast and diarist you might have heard of.
He's lost me there. What am I missing?
It was in relation to the comment about Steves. And the use of Steve at Yorkshire for anybody who
I remember that, yeah, which was sadly also indicative of the dubious attitudes to race at the time. The fact that he couldn't be bothered to attempt to pronounce the name.
And
really
Warren
rather
is
sad.
promoting free hits for wides, which would be an interesting concept.
Well, it would be. Patrick Cummins is going to be back into the attack. Ernesto Cheduguara. Thank you. Well done. Thank you, Anindo. This one is lofted by Cummins. First ball. Has he got it all the way? He has.
Wow.
Well, what a fair old start by another tall Australian. And away it goes.
When Bancroft scuffed it and threw you the ball, you must have known but said nothing at all. Yeah, they were tampering. What'd you do, Cummins?
Even though it may be in a losing cause, I have the feeling Patrick Cummins rather enjoyed that. Just his general attitude. If you can dispatch that at your very first ball with such efficiency, the question is, can he do it again? We shall find out. Well, one ball left of this Jameson over. What's this Jameson over gone for so far? A lot. We'll tell you in a moment. He's turning at the top of his mark. He is going to be in to Cummins. Wide and swung at and edge taken. Jameson has another one. Cummins it is. And A.B. de Villiers is down the track to congratulate the bowler. It was a conventional edge. Cummins has gone. Entertaining innings, 6 and out. And,
good strike rate.
And I just find this so quintessential IPL, right? You've got a Kiwi bowler bowling at an Aussie and a West Indian with a South African wicketkeeper.
The nails, well, yes, indeed. The nails are being banged very firmly into the KKR coffin here. And that, the departure of Cummins, which really was a death or glory innings, a massive 6, conventional edge, nicely taken by de Villiers, another wicket down, 161 for 7, 22 the required run rate, 2 overs to get it. Crucially though, Andre Russell is on strike. And I don't suspect we're going to see him attempt to block out 12 balls for the odd 1 or 2 here. Probably. So whatever happens, and it's almost certainly going to be an RCB win, one might expect in some form to be entertained. Do not go anywhere for the next 12 deliveries. Or it may be more, obviously, if there are wide no balls or other misdemeanours. 161 for 7. Russell 30 off 13. Harbhajan Singh, who one suspects won't be doing the bulk of the hitting, is there to accompany Andre Russell, who's setting himself, just getting himself into the zone, although I think you could safely say he's been in the zone, but it's a last 2 over zone he needs to be in. It's going to be Mohammad Siraj with ball in hand, who is going to be bowling to him.
But Harbhajan Singh is not a bad hitter of the ball.
Well, no, crashed by Russell, but down to backward point. Will he run and leave? Yes, he will. Did they run there? No. I think that tells you good hitter he may be, Harbhajan Singh.
Yeah, but not as good as Andre Russell.
But I think Andre Russell has gone full Sanju Samson there and said, right, it's gonna be me. Harby, all you need to do is jog. You don't even need to jog backwards and forwards unless it's a 2. What's Siraj got? Swung and wide, and good. It gets a round of applause. Too wide to hit, not wide enough to be wide. Excellent delivery. And it frustrated Russell as he couldn't reach it. It's another dot ball.
It's possibly worth mentioning, Tony, that we're going to be doing this all over again in 25 minutes.
You are? Indeed. We collectively are.
And the Delhi Capitals have won the toss and going to bat.
Thank you very much for letting us know on that. In comes Siraj.
Well,
that one is jabbed down. But jabbed just down to deep ankle point. And again, there is no run taken.
I was wrong.
You were wrong?
Yes. I misread Knuckles' tweet. They're going to field. Delhi's going to field.
Easy mistake to make. It's amazing how much bat looks like field. when you get to our age.
Thank you for your forgiveness.
Full again, and This time again is steered away to backward point. Will they run this time? No, it's another double. Andre Russell. Now I have to say, yes, you back yourself, but if you're there, your only hope of winning is to cart the massive sixes, and you've said 4 dot balls. At some point, you have to go. Honestly, it's probably time to run one. Just taking the one at the end of the over is not really going to cut it, is it? Obviously very cross with himself.
Mathematically, he won't be able to do it.
In comes Siraj. This one's a bouncer. Well taken, diving away to his left. Is it going to be signalled a no ball or a wide? I don't think so. No, it's another dot ball. Well taken by...
No, he can't even mathematically do it.
No.
Well, you're right. With a required run rate of 37 and over.
Eoin Morgan's not impressed.
Eoin Morgan, as you rightly say, just the one hat when he's obviously not in the field. Deep in conversation with Patrick Cummins. That might be something along the lines of what they can have for dinner. That's a full toss. Hit by Russell. But again, he doesn't really get hold of it. He does get a single off the last ball of the over. Obviously backing himself to get 43, which is probably highly unlikely. But we shall see. 162 for 7. Russell got one run off that final over. You have to say, by the way, well played, Siraj, and he's getting a huge round of applause from the RCB aficionados, friends, family, and whoever else is actually allowed in the Chennai Stadium here. Because it was an effort. It's going to be Harshal Patel to bowl the last over.
So Warren reckons Jamison looks a little like a Brett Lee clone. I think it's a bit more solid.
He's a bit, he's not quite as fluid in his action either. He's a bit more shouldery in his delivery, isn't he, I think, than Brett Lee.
Jeff Perkins has tweeted something that I'm actually not going to read, Jeff. It's a bit too much. Brown Barish says, Sunday mornings of county cricket. Apologies to Guerrilla Cricket for not tuning in today. Fair enough. County cricket's wonderful.
Well, it is indeed. In comes Harshal Patel. Swing and bowled. Russell has gone. And I have to say, after doing so well, it all went rather badly off the rails, didn't it?
Well, considering
the one off the last
off
over and the wicket off the first ball of this one.
Yes.
He's been bowled. Played on. Let's have a look at this delivery and just let you know. Angled into him. Inside, big inside edge. Off stump, knocked back. And abandon ship. All hope is lost.
No!
Now got me really intrigued by what Jeff Perkins says. I'm going to have to try and find that.
So Nestlers has explained the toss. It says Delhi win the toss and will kick off, serve first, tee off, and are first on the grid.
Perfect. Well, that sums things up very nicely. Thank you, Nestlers, who is our Mr. Multi-Sports, I have to say. 162 for 8. I wonder if there are any sports Nestlers doesn't like. I'm sure he'll let us know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't hear him talk about dressage too often, I've got to be honest, but who knows, he might be a secret admirer of that particular equine sport. 162 for 8. Full, met by Chakravarthy, who, by the way, is the new batsman. We might as well give him a quick jingle.
Varun Chakravarthy, Varun Chakravarthy, Varun Chakravarthy, Varun Chakravarthy, Varun Chakravarthy, Varun Chakravarthy.
Might be playing somewhere if you're listening. It's certainly not playing in my headphones, but I think it will be done. Harshal Patel, 2 for 13 off 3.2 overs for him. Chakravarthy with the literally impossible task. He has a good swing at this though, hauls it away to deep mid wicket. It's fielded by Maxwell. There will just be a single. It'll bring Harbhajan, who finally has been told, was brought in to go, just let Andre get on with it, and had to stand and watch literally nothing happen for 5 balls. But he finally gets a chance to face one, albeit in an impossibly lost situation. 42 needed off 3. I think we can safely say has never happened. I'm sure someone will go, there was a game once, but it comes Harshal wide up In the air it goes. Is it going to be another wicket? No, it's going to plop short of deep mid-wicket. And it will just be a... So I don't think he ran. He did run. Yes, of course he ran. Probably he looks all rather forlorn, does Harby.
So, Anindu, I don't know if you know this or Tony, but I'm sure Knackle will if neither of you do. Do the number of wickets lost impact on the net run rate at the end of the day?
You may know. So. No, I don't believe so.
Did I?
No.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Knackle.
In comes Harshal Patel. You think I was claiming Knackle's knowledge there? No, I was reading what was in front of me on the screen. That one is away to offside. It's just another single. Jameson does the fielding on this occasion. There is one ball left, off which the Knight Riders would have to plunder 40. So, assuming that they might score 1-6 and then face 35 no balls, they're still in there with a shout. But let's assume that isn't going to happen. 165 for 8. This has been a royal thumping by the Royal Challengers. And that one is hauled away, backward of square. They amble a single. They literally can't be RCB'd to run a second. They finish, do the Knight Riders, on 166 for 8. And it has been a conclusive victory by 38 runs. Well paid RCB. Bad luck KKR. But... you could hardly describe it as close. And Indo, what are your thoughts?
Well, 13 years later, they've managed to turn the tables.
Well, they have. 2014, exactly. We were saying. Remember, they did win 2 in a row and then finished 7th in the league in the league table.
I meant these two teams. They played the first IPL match together, right? 13 years ago.
And it was a 140-run win then.
KKR won by that.
Yeah, by that ridiculous score. So not quite that today, but big, I would say, by any standards.
I thought it was actually very impressive by the Royal Challengers. All in all, I think they had their shit together pretty well. I'm still not convinced by Jamieson as a bowler in T20, to be honest. But I think they've really got something moving well for them at the moment.
Yeah, having Maxwell come higher up in the order, I think, is really working well for them.
Yes.
Let's quickly run you through that scorecard because it was, mixed to say the least, I think. For the Knight Riders, Rana went for 18, caught Padikkal, bowled Chahal. Shubman Gill got a bit of a start but didn't really carry it on. He was caught very well diving to his right by Dan Christian off the bowling of the Bowl Jameson, the bowling of the tall Jameson. Tripathi was caught by Siraj off Sundar for 25. Morgan for 29 was caught by Virat Kohli, captain, for 29 off 23. So 3 20s in a row when really someone had to stand tall and offer something more early doors. Remember, they made 57 for 2 in the end in the power play. And you would think they rather needed more. Dinesh Karthik went for 2. Shakib Hasan just a shade over runnable for 26 before being bowled by Jameson. Andre Russell entertained us, and we thought this could be enormous, huge, something special maybe. But then he was completely boxed in by some really clever bowling, and he just ran out of steam before finally going for 31 off 20. Bowled by Harshal Patel. Pat Cummins, 6 and out for him. Harbhajan Singh came in to watch Russell do nothing and was 2 not out. Varun Chakravarthy was 2 not out. 166 for 8. 3 wickets for Jameson for 41, so not that bad, but admittedly they were an economy rate of 13, I think is what you were really alluding to, Messrs.
Yes.
None for 24 for Maxwell, 2 for 34 for Yuzvendra Chahal, something of a comeback for him. 1 wicket for Washington Sundar, but comprehensively, it's the Royal Challengers Bangalore day as they win by 38 runs. It's been fun. Messrs, before we switch gear and worry about the next game, tell us what my final messages you might have.
Okay, there's a few, but just 2 that I think are important. Nestler's saying, any sports you don't like? anytime Spurs are playing. And a good point from Leah in relation to net run rate. Wickets don't count unless you're all out, in which case you are judged to have faced 20 overs. So that's quite an important thing when that occurs. The rest of it we can catch up when we start again in about 3 minutes' time.
Well, we can.
I'll bid all of you goodbye then.
It's a good night.
Thank you, and
from him. It'll be a good night from me, and I will hand back to Knuckle Pandy, who I'm sure will tell us what's going to happen next. Take care.
Well, it is 2:45 p.m. UK time, and as this game finishes, the next game starts pretty much. Even though the game did finish pretty much bang on time, so we'll go into our first three for that game. I can tell you that the Delhi Capitals have won the toss and elected to field. Just quickly run you through the teams. Two changes for Delhi Capitals. Ajinkya Rahane is out, Stephen Smith is in, and Tom Curran, after a bad start to the season, is out. Lukman Meriwala, the left-arm seamer from Baroda, who did very well in the side Mushtaq Ali Trophy, second highest wicket taker in the tournament, is in. Punjab Kings make one change, off spinner for leg spinner Jalaj Saxena for M. Ashwin. So Delhi going with Prithvi Shaw, Shikhar Dhawan, Stephen Smith, Rishabh Pant, the captain and keeper, Marcus Stoinis, Lalit Yadav, Chris Wokes, R. Ashwin, Kahisa Rabada, Avesh Khan, Lukman Meriwala. So Anrik Norkir is available for selection but given a little bit more of a break. And Punjab Kings going with Mayank Agarwal, captain and wicketkeeper KL Rahul, Chris Gale, Deepak Huda, Nicholas Poor and Shahrukh Khan, Jai Richardson, Jalaj Saxena, Mohammad Shami, Riley Meredith and Arshdeep Singh. And I hand over for the first power play to Nestle Boy, to Andy Ward and to Al Hotchkiss.
Hello everyone.
Right. Hey Andy. Hi Andy. How you doing?
Good. Well, let's have a look at this game then. Delhi and Punjab. I don't know how you figure this one out, but Punjab beat Rajasthan and lost to CSK, whereas Delhi beat CSK and lost to Rajasthan. So how do you make sense out of that now?
The only thing that I can make sense of is a comment that MS Dhoni made about winning the toss, about the time at which these games will be